The novel Stoner by John Williams, published in 1965, received immense critical acclaim but never achieved widespread popularity as a classic. Positioned within the academic novel genre, Stoner presents a linear exploration of the life of William Stoner, an average man with good intentions who seemingly fails to attain success. As he works diligently as a university professor while his personal life crumbles, the protagonist finds solace in his profound love for literature and its ability to evoke moments of sublime experience. The prologue of the novel, preceding its actual beginning, discloses the entire plot, including the ending, through the obituary of an assistant professor of English who leaves behind a manuscript donated in his name by his colleagues. By eliminating suspense, Williams encourages readers to focus on the ordinary details of life, juxtaposing the seemingly unremarkable exterior of a person's existence with moments of profound beauty, love, and transcendent meaning within. William Stoner, born into an impoverished farming family in late 19th century Missouri, is sent by his father to the University of Missouri to study agronomy. Initially apathetic and lacking ambition, Stoner trudges through his college years until he takes a mandatory English literature survey course taught by his future mentor, Archer Sloane. When asked to analyze Shakespeare's Sonnet 73, Stoner experiences a transformative moment, captivated by the power of the poem's language. Filled with awe, he recognizes that his true calling lies in literature and changes his major. However, he only reveals his decision to his parents at his graduation, informing them that he will not return to the farm. Stoner completes his master's degree and embarks on a teaching career, although he proves to be a better student than a teacher. Despite his friends from graduate school enlisting to fight in World War I, Stoner makes the decision to avoid the war, which leads to some disapproval from others. Following the signing of the armistice, Stoner encounters a reserved and distant young woman named Edith. Convinced that showing her kindness will eventually reciprocate his affection, Stoner pursues her romantically. However, the reader becomes aware that Edith is emotionally damaged, yet Stoner's romantic nature prevents him from fully understanding her struggles. With her parents' consent, they marry shortly after meeting, with Edith promising to be a good wife and Stoner becoming estranged from his own parents due to class differences. Unfortunately, the marriage becomes a disaster as Edith's emotional damage surfaces. Raised to be ornamental and sexually repressed, she exhibits manipulative and cruel behavior. Edith withholds intimacy from Stoner, creating a miserable home environment that prompts him to spend more time at work and sleep in a separate bedroom. Edith experiences periods of intense activity, followed by long stretches of immobility. After 3 years of marriage, she briefly becomes sexually interested in order to conceive a child, but soon loses interest again. Following the birth of their daughter, Grace, Edith suffers from an unspecified illness that confines her to bed for a year. As Grace grows older, Edith deliberately tries to drive a wedge between her and Stoner, witnessing the deep love he has for their daughter. Stoner becomes aware of Edith's tormenting behavior, but feels powerless to intervene, passively accepting her mistreatment. A contemporary reader may infer from Edith's description and behavior that she may have bipolar disorder, potentially experienced sexual abuse from her father, and could be dealing with postpartum depression. Meanwhile, Stoner's career progresses as he is promoted to associate professor on a tenure track. However, his inability to navigate office politics creates a challenging situation for him. Drawing upon his ethical principles, Stoner gives a failing grade to a student named Charles Walker, whose eloquent words mask a profound lack of knowledge. However, Walker, who is disabled, happens to be the protege of the influential Professor Hollis Lomax, also disabled. Assuming that Stoner harbors prejudice against disabled individuals, Lomax embarks on a mission of vengeance, inflicting professional chaos upon Stoner's life and career. Eventually, Stoner experiences a semblance of victory when he enters into a passionate affair with a younger professor named Catherine Driscoll. This relationship becomes the happiest period of Stoner's life, and for a time, nothing disrupts their connection. Even when Edith discovers the affair, she appears unperturbed. However, Lomax, leveraging his position within the department, coerces Catherine into ending the relationship, using the excuse that its exposure would lead to scandal. Catherine departs from the town, and Stoner never sees her again. Subsequently, Stoner withdraws into himself, rapidly aging, and increasingly spending time at home, much to Edith's annoyance. Edith, in turn, continues her emotionally abusive behavior toward their daughter, Grace, who struggles with weight issues during her teenage years. Although Stoner wishes to send Grace to study at a college in the East, Edith objects, and Grace ultimately enrolls at the University of Missouri during her freshman year. Grace becomes pregnant and marries the father, but he tragically enlists in the army and perishes in World War II. Grace moves in with her in-laws and develops a severe drinking problem. As Stoner approaches the mandatory retirement age, he receives news of his cancer diagnosis, leading to his immediate departure from the university. With death looming, Stoner reflects upon his life and its perceived failures. Ultimately, Stoner realizes that the meaning in his life stems from his profound love for books and his unwavering dedication to the study of literature, akin to that of a devoted priest. The novel concludes with Stoner's passing, his hand gently resting on a copy of his first book, a poignant reminder of the profound wonder he has always experienced when encountering the ineffable power of words. Periodically, a new edition of the novel offers it a fleeting respite from obscurity. Yet, those who champion the book acknowledge that its relentlessly somber and uncompromising narrative may forever hinder its widespread recognition. Nevertheless, as Tim Kreider eloquently expressed in his recent essay in The New Yorker, the novel possesses a remarkable ability to repeatedly achieve moments of quiet transcendence. These instances, for inexplicable reasons, stir emotions that defy explanation, causing the hairs on one's arms to stand on end. They grant fleeting glimpses of eternity through the dimming view beyond an office window on a wintry night, evoking an indescribable sense of awe. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.